afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. So today we're gonna have somebody very, very special. So who am I, first of all? So I am Tony Chiu, the founder and CEO of Renewables in Africa. And in this forum, we always like to bring to you the African leaders, the young African leaders, people that are shaping and forming our continent. So today I'm talking to Mr. Vincent Maposa. So he's the founder and CEO of Wetility. So a very, very interesting company, but I don't want to give you everything. So I'll leave it up to him. So Vincent, it's a pleasure to see you today. So how are you, my friend?
I'm very well, thanks, Tony. It's a pleasure to be on your platform to express our views on our business and where we're going with it.
Whoa, I think you and I talked for some time, and I told you that it was due. So I'm very, very happy we able to make it happen now. So let's dive more into the conversation now, if you don't mind, right? So we're gonna be running some few questions because we like our audience to get to know you a little bit more and your fantastic journey, what you've done so far with the team, and then and I'm sure they'd be pretty excited to see that. So if I can just kick off and say, to give justice to your fantastic journey so far, would you mind introducing yourself to our audience, to the real audience?
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Tony. So I'm the CEO and founder of Wetility. Wetility is an solar energy technology company focusing mostly on rooftop solar under 1 megawatt in South Africa with links into other parts of Southern Africa. We're a fairly new company. We're a startup. We've been around for about a year. Previously, we were just in sort of research phase. For a year before that, we were trying to figure out where the right focus areas would be for us within the renewable energy space. So it was always going to be a renewable energy play. We just needed to understand what our market position is and the most viable, sort of area for us to enter into the market.
Excellent. That's very, very interesting. So I wanted to know, because you were talking about the renewable. So would you mind telling us what about the renewable energy sector is particularly intriguing you? So what is that?
Okay, so just from a background perspective, to give you further context. So I've always worked in the energy space, mostly as a strategy manager and a consultant and an energy analyst. So a lot of research has gone into the decisions around, where do we move to and what area of renewable energy do we focus on? So one of the primary things is the irradiance levels in Southern Africa. They're quite high from a yield perspective. So it sort of became a no-brainer, especially say the cost per watt of equipment started to go down. Look, we can get quite yields in Southern Africa. So let's look at that as an opportunity. Secondly, I think there's quite a bit in terms of the energy poverty gap. So it's about closing the energy poverty gap as well. So if you look at, say, South Africa with an 86% energy access rate, outside of South Africa, the rest of SADC, you're looking at rates of between 20 and 40%. So there's a significant opportunity for us to find the right products and solutions to allow us to close the energy poverty gap. The third aspect is, even in grid-connected areas, there's an inefficient use of resources that are available, and you also have inefficiencies with some of the traditional utility models, which are very sort of capital intensive. There's a slow rate of growth of capacity. There are service delivery issues. And we firmly believe that, look, if the resource is available and the right technology is available on site, whether it's storage after the meter or production at the point of consumption, we should get into that and provide customers or provide our partners with an energy journey that is efficient, that takes into consideration the resources that are available to them, and that's the sort of the premise for us wanting to be in this space.
Okay, that's fantastic. And I wanted to know, because obviously you will face competition, and I'm sure there's other people that doing offering similar kind of product, but not exactly the same, I'm sure. So how do you make the difference with Wetility?
So the difference for us is about providing people, firstly, with hybrid solutions. So we're not trying to replace the traditional utility upfront, because replacing the utility or going completely off grid for some of the customers we're targeting is quite expensive and prohibitive. Secondly, the most important thing is about the customer journey. So The technologies exist, and I think there's a lot of research and development that's going into improving the technologies, be it the yield from the technology or whether it's the economics around how you actually acquire the technologies. Our perspective and our focus is on the customer journey. How do you get involved with the customer and be a part of the journey to its entirety? So if you look at the lifespan of a typical renewable energy plant, whether it's big or small, you're looking at a lifespan of about 25 years for the panels. Inverters now, you're looking at about 10 to 15 years. Batteries, very similar depending on the type of battery. And what we find is a lot of installers, a lot of people that are competing in our space, simply install and walk away. And they don't provide the customer with an experience that's highly optimized, that's monitored, and provide the interventions that allow the customer to benefit significantly. Because I think the thing about energy, we know its continuity and its use as well from a customer perspective changes. So, and a good example would be a one-child family, right? We give them a solution and then we walk away from that. And then 3-4 years down the line, this family has 4 or 5 children. So you can already see that the energy needs of that home have changed. And if you're not part of the journey with the customer, you won't be able to provide them with a solution that makes it a lot better for them to actually continue, using energy in the way that you would want them to use, because you're not heavily involved. So that's where we fit in and where we see ourselves as having a significant value proposition and a point of entry into the market.
That's actually very, very interesting to understand. So you're really actually sitting from the side of the customer, making sure that you can make the journey as seamless as possible for them, not just having solar panel installed into their roof and then disappear. So that's very, very interesting to know. And how far are you planning to go with this Wetility journey?
Yeah, so for us, we have a very bold vision to at least find a Wetility product in every home in SADC. And what we mean by that is there's a lot of grid connected homes in SADC, and there are a few that are, well, a significant number that are not grid connected. And by being a point of interaction between the utility and the resource that can be generated on the site, we are viewing this as something that can apply quite significantly across Southern Africa. Secondly, I think, as I've already pointed out, the radiance levels support this kind of business model. So from an ambition perspective, we don't see ourselves as being an entity or a company that's going to be around just for a couple of years. We have a very long-term vision. And once we develop and grow within our home territory market, which is Gauteng in South Africa, we're looking at expanding quite significantly into the rest of Southern Africa. And with it, I think there are other benefits as well that come with that, which is local content as well. We strongly believe that in these markets that we want to enter into, there must be some local development or local content that we acquire from these markets. If you think about things such as mounting, which are not highly technical pieces of information, there's significant opportunities for us to have strategic relationships within SADC countries for us to get mounting structures, for example. So from a journey perspective, we're definitely viewing this as a long-term journey, but with a very regional focus once we develop strongly in our home territory and home market.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And then, what do customers stand to gain with you?
Yeah, so I think the significant thing that customers stand to benefit by partnering with us is an innovative, customer-focused organization which continuously aims to deliver on its brand and customer value proposition, but also one that's at the forefront of feeding in new technologies to support the journey. So we don't view this as something that's static, where we develop a product, we give it to you, and for the next 10 years, we ride the wave of having given you that product. There's a lot that's happening in the technology space that's driving to a lower cost of delivery, a lower cost of charging, a lower cost of dissipating from batteries, a lower cost per watt of the solar panels. And we want to always be at the forefront of providing the customer with the most efficient solution with all the economic considerations taken into account.
Okay, great. And I know any great company, so it's all about the team that actually is around you. So we see that at REA, because I'm always saying, I'm nothing without my team, without our readers. So these are the people that actually carry you and support you. and when you need it the most, and also when you need the least, they're still there, which is great.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know for your side, so who has joined you in your utility journey, and more importantly, why do they believe in you?
Yes. So that's a great, sort of way to have that upfront. So I started out the business as a single founder, and then I went out and got two co-founders, Sandeep and Shane, who have really, shown faith in the vision and the direction that we're willing to take. But in addition to that, outside of people that form our broader team, there are certain partners that have come on board very early on, even when we're still at concept stage. So an example would be the Innovation Hub, some of the commercial banks, our branding partners, our tech developers as well on the digital side, and as well as if you think about Ria as well. I mean, we had a conversation. Our first conversation probably was a good 10 months ago, and you've sort of been through the journey from us being a concept stage company to us actually developing pilots and us actually deploying the solution into the markets. We also have a very good set of shareholders drawn from a variety of nationalities and backgrounds who have been very supportive in the journey. And I think it's always important as a startup to go out and seek discerning shareholders who understand where you are in the journey and are willing to back the vision and the idea and take you along the journey and also be a part of the journey, fully understanding where you're going and what what sort of the payoff is going to be in future. So I think we've been very fortunate. We've been, we've been blessed to have those kind of investors upfront and those kind of partners who have been able to join us on the journey.
I'm very, very pleased to hear that. Definitely, we had our first conversation about almost a year ago, roughly, and definitely since then we've seen a tremendous progression, and which is even more admirable looking at what environment we're in at the moment. We're talking about COVID-19, and
Mm-hmm.
but amidst the challenges that everybody facing, you were still able to make some progress, and this is very fantastic. So, Vincent, we've come to the end of the first part of our conversation. So, what we're gonna do, just gonna take a very short break, and very soon we'll reconvene to find out even more about your utility journey and what people stand to gain, especially from the investment side. So, I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, Tony. It's a pleasure.